He was the quietest member of the Rat Pack, the one who didn't sing, didn't dance, and never had the same larger-than-life presence as Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin. But Joey Bishop was crucial to the group. He was the man behind many of their most memorable jokes, the one who made sure their legendary banter had structure, timing, and just the right amount of edge. Yet, despite his contributions, Bishop's name has faded over time. While Sinatra remains an icon, and Dean Martin is still revered for his effortless cool, Joey Bishop's legacy is often reduced to a footnote in Rat Pack history. How did that happen? How did a kid from South Philadelphia rise through the ranks of show business, become part of one of the most famous entertainment groups of all time, and then, almost just as quickly, find himself cast aside? Today, we're diving deep into the life and career of Joey Bishop, the highs, the lows, and why Hollywood never quite gave him the credit he deserved. Joey Bishop was born Joseph Abraham Gottlieb on February 3, 1918, in the Bronx, New York. His parents were Jewish immigrants, and when Joey was just a child, the family moved to South Philadelphia. Life wasn't easy. His father was a struggling bicycle repairman, and the family often scraped by to make ends meet. But if there was one thing Bishop learned early, it was that humor could get you through just about anything. In school, he was the class clown, always quick with a comeback or a one-liner. His sharp wit made him popular with friends, but it wasn't until his teenage years that he started thinking about comedy as something more than just a way to get laughs. By the time he was in his late teens, Bishop had started performing in local clubs, testing out his material in front of tough Philadelphia crowds. It wasn't glamorous, small stages, low pay, and an audience that could turn on you in an instant. But it was in these early years that Bishop developed the style that would define him. Dry, understated, and razor-sharp. Unlike many comedians of the time who relied on exaggerated physical comedy or over-the-top antics, Bishop's humor was more subtle. He had a way of delivering a joke with a straight face, letting the audience catch up before the punchline landed. It was different, and it worked. Bishop's big break didn't happen overnight. Like most entertainers of his era, he spent years grinding it out in nightclubs, working his way up from tiny venues in Philadelphia to bigger stages in New York and eventually Las Vegas. During World War II, he put his career on pause to serve in the U.S. Army. Even in the military, his comedic talents didn't go unnoticed. He entertained troops, performing stand-up routines that helped soldiers escape the harsh realities of war, even if only for a few minutes. After the war, Bishop returned to comedy with even more determination. The post-war years saw a boom in television, and Bishop was savvy enough to see where the industry was headed. He started making appearances on TV variety shows, including The Ed Sullivan Show and The Tonight Show, quickly earning a reputation as a dependable and witty guest. By the late 1950s, Bishop had officially broken into the big leagues. He wasn't just another nightclub comic anymore, he was a recognizable name in the entertainment industry. But the biggest moment of his career was still to come. Joey Bishop's association with Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack didn't happen by accident. By the late 1950s, Sinatra was at the height of his power, dominating music, film, and the Las Vegas entertainment scene. Always on the lookout for talent, Sinatra had a keen eye for people who could add something unique to his inner circle. He had Dean Martin, the suave crooner, Sammy Davis Jr., the all-around entertainer, and Peter Lawford, the Hollywood connection. But what the group needed was a comedian, someone who could balance out their act with humor. Enter Joey Bishop. Bishop wasn't just another funny guy, he was a comedian with a talent for writing. He didn't just perform jokes, he structured them. He had a knack for understanding timing, rhythm, and the natural flow of conversation. When Sinatra brought him into the group, Bishop quickly became an essential part of the Rat Pack's live shows. While the others entertained with music and charm, Bishop was the one keeping the humor sharp and the audience engaged. Behind the scenes, he also played a crucial role. Many of the Rat Pack's iconic quips and one-liners, those seemingly off-the-cuff remarks that made them look effortlessly cool, were actually written by Bishop. He helped craft their comedic persona, ensuring that their performances felt spontaneous but still had structure. For a while, it was a perfect fit. The Rat Pack ruled Las Vegas, Hollywood, and late-night television. They performed sold-out shows at the Sands Hotel, starred in movies like Ocean's 11, and became the epitome of 1960s cool. But then, things started to shift. At first glance, Joey Bishop and Frank Sinatra seemed like an unlikely duo. One was a soft-spoken, sharp-witted comedian, the other a larger-than-life, volatile superstar. But for years, they made it work. Bishop's dry humor balanced Sinatra's commanding presence, and Sinatra, in turn, gave Bishop a platform that elevated his career to heights he could never have reached alone. But power dynamics in the Rat Pack were never equal. Sinatra was the leader, the undisputed boss, and while Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., and Peter Lawford all had their own strengths, they understood that Sinatra's word was law. Bishop, however, had a different kind of confidence. He wasn't a yes man. His humor was rooted in sarcasm and quick-witted jabs, sometimes at Sinatra's expense. That didn't always sit well with Old Blue Eyes. Sinatra had a complicated relationship with comedy. He appreciated it, even relied on it, but he also had a notoriously thin skin. When Bishop joked about Sinatra's influence or playfully mocked his temper, it could be hilarious for an audience, but for Sinatra, it was sometimes a step too far. Over time, those little jabs accumulated, creating tension beneath the surface. Then there was the issue of power. Bishop, unlike the other Rat Pack members, was starting to carve out a career that didn't depend entirely on Sinatra's coattails. He was landing major television deals, hosting shows, and proving that he could succeed outside of the group. While Sinatra had helped him rise, Bishop was no longer just an underling. He was competition. Slowly, Sinatra's attitude toward Bishop changed. The invitations to Rat Pack events became fewer. The performances where Bishop had once played a crucial role now featured less of him, or sometimes excluded him entirely. The once tight friendship turned into a distant professional politeness at best and outright dismissal at worst. Unlike others who had been exiled from Sinatra's circle, Bishop didn't make a public fuss. He didn't try to reconcile, nor did he go on record with bitter stories. Instead, he did what he had always done best. He moved forward, adapting to the next phase of his career. But the damage was done. Without Sinatra's backing, Bishop's Hollywood influence diminished, and he soon found himself in a different position. Still respected, still talented, but no longer a major player in the industry he had once helped define. Despite the falling out with Sinatra, Bishop wasn't done yet. In 1961, he landed his own sitcom, The Joey Bishop Show. While it ran for 4 seasons, it never reached the cultural impact of other sitcoms of the time. His next big move was in 1967, when he launched The Joey Bishop Show, this time as a late-night talk show. Competing directly with Johnny Carson was a near-impossible task, but Bishop gave it his best shot. With Regis Philbin as his sidekick, the show had moments of brilliance, but it never gained enough traction to last. After 2 years, it was canceled, leaving Carson as the undisputed king of late night. As the years went on, Bishop's career slowly faded from the spotlight. He continued to appear in guest roles on TV shows, performed the occasional stand-up gig, and remained a respected figure in comedy. His personal life, however, was stable. He was married to Sylvia Rusga for over 50 years, a rare feat in Hollywood. But when she passed away in 1999, Bishop became more withdrawn. In 2007, at the age of 89, Joey Bishop passed away, the last surviving member of the Rat Pack. Joey Bishop may not have been the flashiest member of the Rat Pack, but he was one of its most important. He was the glue that held their comedy together, the man who gave their performances the structure they needed to shine. Yet his name has largely been forgotten. Why? Maybe because he never sought the spotlight as aggressively as Sinatra or Martin. Maybe because he wasn't a singer or a Hollywood heartthrob. But make no mistake, Joey Bishop was a crucial part of entertainment history. And perhaps it's time his legacy got the recognition it deserves. What do you think? Should Joey Bishop be remembered as one of comedy's greats? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our other deep dives. Thanks for watching.